Welcome to the bold analysis from the beautiful city of Nairobi, and we are forced to work from our home studio because Nairobi is on total lockdown. If you remember how things used to be during COVID 19, then that is how Nairobi CBD is looking like. So, in this podcast, we are going to give you a real feel of update, a real update of what exactly is happening in Nairobi, and we are going to listen to the state agents that have been dispatched to media to try to defend this decision, as questions then linger as to why was it not communicated that there was no going to work on Monday. What is the objective and what was the intel behind this? Remember, the ODM leader Raila Odinga had even asked some people to join him in Kamukunji grounds for the Sabasaba commemoration, but all that seemed not to have been there. And you must understand that while the J25 protest was actually commemoration of J24, the Sabasaba is a 35-year-old celebration that is normally marked as the day after Kenya got multi-party democracy. And career and veteran politicians are emotionally attached to Sabasaba, of which there is a very clear point that then that was getting bit of support. So I want us to look at the state of roads, and from exclusively what is coming out is after extensive night, the president decided to put Nairobi on total lockdown. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. We are going to do special coverage of Nairobi lockdown, and of course also look at other parts of the country. And so if you want to know what's happening in Kenya at this critical time, this is your podcast. Make sure you stay here, because I can promise you that we are going to give you the real update of what's happening in town. All roads leading to Nairobi CBD were closed. This is, and if you look at all the major roads, that is, people who woke up in the morning to try to make their way to town did not make their way, and no one was actually allowed to get to CBD. And the CBD is actually a deserted place completely, begging more question as to whether was it a security intel that brought panic in the night. Because as you remember, yesterday night or on Sunday, the police did not issue their usual press briefings that they normally do. Neither did the police bosses come out to speak. Only that on Sunday night, there was a press statement from NPS that, of course, was calling about the protest had to be peaceful and this and that. But they were a little bit cagey as to what they were expecting. We are not seeing water cannons, as currently I'm shooting this video at around 10 a.m. Kenyan time, and there were no water cannons in town. In fact, there was no one. Completely, the town was deserted. All the shops closed. And of course, that is the state of affairs. I want us to look at some few instances here. Police blocked Magadi Road at Masai Mall to prevent traffic from Rongai accessing Nairobi CBD.
Simamisha hapa. Wewe twende. Haina haja ni risk ya twende na unaona hakuna kupita.
Yes, so this was a very, they really looked at this because they're actually feeling like people would come from Langata and the Kibera slums, and instead of going down through Ngong Road, which had also been blocked, they'll make their way through the Eastern Bypass. and that has been closed. And as you can see there, that motorist is actually arguing with the person is carrying with the passenger, with his client there, about as to whether they should be able to make their way to town. There has been a sneak peek of how Rongai is been. Also, in Kawangware, this is a footage from Kawangware Market. Of course, Kawangware Market is also shut down. Why this is a very critical place for, of course, why we are looking at this is where you're seeing people who know Kawangware Market. This is just the stalls that are normally opposite BP, the Shell petrol station. People who know that place. Opposite the Shell petrol station. This is that these are the stalls. So those people normally put up their stock there before you get into the main Kawangware center. Now, Kawangware was marked out as a hotspot because of the police station that was burnt. Remember, Kawangware police station was burnt. It's just opposite the road, and it's just few meters from the Shell petrol station from BP. If you go actually opposite Lukman petrol station, people who know that place well. So they knew that because the Kawangware police station was burnt, probably they were feeling that that is also another hotspot. If you look at it, there is a market that has also been shut. Nothing is really going on. And I've asked some local reporter who is based there, who is telling me that really heavy police presence in that place. I don't know if it had been banned last time. I don't know whether someone was anticipating that it will also be a target this time round. Now, if you want to know, there was a bit of panic. I wanted to look at this video. This video was taken at 2 a.m. and this is Coach. The coaches and the buses that ply the western route were being blocked at Kangemi, and they were not allowed to take people to CBD. Remember, they have a the drop point within Nairobi town. Coach is around just next to Easy Coach, and that line, Haile Selassie Way, on your way to Machakos Bus Park. So that is where Coach was supposed to drop the passengers, but this time round they were denied that opportunity, and they were forced to drop the passengers at the Kangemi roundabout. And the move to drop them at Kangemi roundabout, we are told, was informed by a fear that probably those who are from town, from the western wing, could have been part of Mandamano. But I just don't know, because I feel it was not done in a good way. It was not done in a good way because this was not really supposed to be the place to do it. This was not the place to do it, because they would actually have made sure that at least these people get to town, but immediately they get to town, they leave. But again, as early as 2 a.m., no vehicle was allowed to get to town. And this was panic, because ordinarily I always think that people always feel that protesters are Nairobi residents. So people were coming from Western. This should ordinarily be the broad-based fellows. They were blocked at 2 a.m. not to make their way to town. I'm also just, apart from this, I'm making another observation from Muliro Gardens in Kakamega, if I'm not wrong. This should be Kakamega. Muliro Gardens also on total lockdown. On total lockdown on Muliro Gardens, so that they are actually not made their way in Kakamega. Where Kakamega is a point is the opposition spent last 2 days in Kakamega, and while they spent 2 days in Kakamega, when they spent 2 days in Kakamega, they were not able to, the state probably feel like there is a ripple effect on what the fellows are doing there, and it can cause, probably it can charge the masses to protest. Naivasha Road has been blocked youths block Naivasha Road ahead of Sabasaba. Naivasha Road has also been blocked. This is the place I was telling you around heading to Kawangware. Parliament Road, police erect a razor blade wire to block access to Parliament ahead of planned protest. Hey. Nakwambia ili uoga ilikuwa. You've already blocked people from getting to CBD and you're already blocking all access road to CBD, but at the same time Parliament Road has also, police has erected a razor wire to block access to Parliament. So I don't know, and I'm looking at this because probably someone had an intel. It is both Parliament and State House. Probably someone had an intel that when protesters gather in town, they will actually target Parliament, and this is part of the intelligence report that probably was served, that is leading the agencies, that is actually leading the security agencies. Some shops around Kisumu Bus Park remain closed. Yes, Kisumu Bus Park is a place I worked. I also asked around. Even Kisumu Bus Park is being closed. And if you can look at these photos, these are photos from Kisumu Bus Park confirming that no movement has been allowed in that. Another spot check at Nakuru. Police have been conducting active patrols across Nakuru city with a significant presence deployed at identified hotspots ahead of the planned protest. In Nakuru, you can see police presence and also shops closed. I think major cities have been put on lockdown. That is Nakuru, Nairobi, and part of Kisumu. If I'm also just looking at the other place, GPO roundabout, Nairobi blocked by demonstration police officers. DG Masengele and Director Operations Adamson Bungei with other senior officials patrolling the CBD. You can see Masengele and his team are actually in the CBD. Yeah, that is just a bit of it. If you can also give us a sneak peek. Uasin Gishu, heavy police presence in Uasin Gishu, Eldoret, placed, that is Huruma. In Eldoret, there was also not very easy last time when they were protesting Eldoret because there was a police vehicle that was burnt there, and Oscar Sud was actually blaming a local MCA to have been maybe for what happened in Eldoret, and probably that's why they are looking at there. There are no traffic disruptions reported. Of course, Kisumu a little bit moving. Yes, so just that a bit, just looking at Nairobi, it's still deserted. Limuru, police in Limuru have also blocked the road leading to Limuru sub-county offices, the law courts and DCC offices. They are maybe because of the burning that they might have thought about that. Ambulance denied entry into CBD. This is also another update we are receiving now. An ambulance was blocked from making its way to the CBD. So just after looking at the state ground, let us look at, of course, in Zimmerman, there are some bonfires. Police bosses appeared in the streets around 9 a.m. and according to them, they were actually making riddles that people should actually go to work. Now, I paid attention to the conversation that was going on at Citizen TV in the morning because I want to believe at this point the state had a multi-agency approach both on what the police are going to do on the ground and those who appear in media, what they're going to say and how they're going to defend this decision. And this is what Nelson Koech was trying to explain on this matter.
But so what are the plans? With the reports that most of the roads are blocked into the city, what is the bigger plan?
From where I sit, Sam, there's from 24th last year, there have been a series of demonstrations. What you saw 2 weeks ago was a demonstration that whose intention we did not know, number one. And number two, that left so many people and businesses suffering, including police officers. I'm sure you saw the videos of police officers being roughed up by goons in town. There's a lady, the video was online, a lady was being roughed up in town. I've just seen page 4 of the Daily Nation. officers who suffered in the protest last week. It was 2 weeks ago. Yep. It was deadly. So many people lost businesses. People lost life. Some were hurt, some were injured. And I think the police are, and still you find that the public is apportioning the blame on the police. I think now the government is taking seriously the protection of property and life, and that is why the security today is heightened. I think the intention is to make sure that everyone who comes to town has only one intention, that they are going to be peaceful if they are going to do a demonstration, or goons who might want to use that opportunity also to get themselves into town are deterred at the point of entry into town. So I think those blocks are necessary, at least for now, as we wait to see how the day will unravel.
Isn't it unfair that, I mean, there are Kenyans who really report to work very early. Wouldn't it have helped to even issue a notice?
Is it fair, first of all, that we're having this demonstration today? That should be the question. What is it about? What is Sabasaba about? Will we be deciding to do Sabasaba whimsically when we think that it is okay?
Before you shift the question, is it fair for someone who reports to work very early, they're on the road 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Is it fair that we're having demonstration today, sir?
Just hold it, Mheshimiwa Koech. The question is, someone is going to work, it's 4 a.m., it's 5 a.m., they reach a point and they are told that you have to alight. If you're going to work, you walk to the city. Is that fair? Why not just issue a notice?
I feel for Kenyans who might not have...
So there's a bit of that panic. Of course, that is what they actually think and what they've said about all that. Remember, even yesterday, someone said that there was intelligence that SGR was supposed to be attacked and they suspended operations from Nairobi, Mombasa, and motorists were actually, or travelers were actually stranded at the SGR Mombasa. As to whether they will be allowed to make their way to Nairobi, we are yet to find out. And Robert Mbui took Nelson Koech head-on on this matter.
Okay, Mheshimiwa Mbui, what are your thoughts about this situation and how it's being dealt with?
First and foremost, Sam, I see it is just a way of intimidating the general population. The police, by setting up all these roadblocks, are just intimidating people, and it's this thing of trying to show, that they have power. But allow me to pass my sincere apologies, in fact, on behalf of the Kenya Kwanza regime, because what they did yesterday in attacking mothers who had come together to issue a statement and ask their sons and daughters who would go to the streets to be peaceful. Yeah. And then goons are sent to attack them. I want to condemn that in the strongest terms possible. It's not the first time. We've seen on social media clips, groups all over the country in different places being assembled and probably being given instructions on what to do today. I think we are reaching that point. We're going backwards. Sam, it's unfortunate we are not moving forward as a country. Yeah. But, my colleague here said that, these demonstrations have, it doesn't understand the intention. He even talked about the one on June 25th and surprisingly says, what was the intention? I want to maybe remind him that last year, June 25th of 2024, young people came to Parliament to present a petition to us, because we were then at the verge of passing a finance bill that was fairly draconian in their opinion. And really, it was draconian. Yeah. And that coming hot in the heels of the 2023 finance bill that really dealt a very serious blow on everybody's income and disposable income. So they came to the streets because the 2023 demonstrations that were led by political leaders did not seem to have stopped the government from proceeding. So when they came to the streets, 60 of them were shot dead. And so on June 25th this year, the youth that came to the streets were coming to commemorate their colleagues that died. That was the purpose. And then, of course, as usual, the police, because of the intention to intimidate, got out there and killed more. And then, just before that, when Albert Ojwang had died, the youth had gone to the streets to also protest about the police brutality and the killings. And in that process, a few are also again gunned down. So the whole thing is really a mess. From one mistake to another, this regime keeps shooting itself on the foot. And today's plan is also surprising. Minister of Public Services, everyone should report to work. The interior blocks the roads. I mean, then you wonder what exactly is this regime up to. So I want to just.
So that why the lockdown? I think the lockdown is targeting major cities of Nakuru, Kisumu, Nairobi, and Mombasa. I'm yet to see an update from Mombasa, but of course I'm just getting yes from my phone that Kevin, Mombasa is also on total lockdown. We cannot go make our way. We cannot. Let me just read here, Kevin. Yes. Something on an update of Mombasa, that Mombasa is also not looking very good. And of course, this one, if you're somewhere, you can get to the comment section. If you have a direct number, you can also tell us what's happening where you are. And by the way, we will immediately we're done with this, we are going to support a little bit of jinsi ambao waliafektiwa. So if you also have contacts mwenye ako hospitali and really need support, and you feel that our foundation, we can come and support, you can also forward, you can also give us an update. You can also reach me out so that we support immediately to Kimaliza, probably in the course of this week. They would have chosen to notify Kenyans not to go to work than making people to wake up very early in the morning with a report that they were probably reporting to their workplaces, but then barricade. But probably they also didn't want to appear as if they are panicking. Therefore, I'm making 4 objectives around all this. Number 1, the police were in panic about containing the numbers. Remember, the hashtag Siri ni numbers had actually got the state off guard, because indeed Siri ni numbers, when the numbers are too many, you cannot really contain those numbers. And that is one factor that is one observation I can make here. They are avoiding by all means to have crowds in Nairobi, because when the Nairobi crowd is bulging, it is increasingly becoming difficult for the police officers to control, and that would have been an issue. But I'm also realizing the lockdown is a very intentional move, and it is supposed to put Nairobi in economic standstill. Economic standstill will be used to discourage how many people have not gone to work, how many people, businesses, when it happened, there was looting, they said much was lost. So today, Nairobi County has not collected taxes from traders. The motorists the traffic police that normally collect their stipend from motorists have also not collected. They're also targeting the people in the matatu industry not to make profit, not to work, and immediately they don't work. They understand that Nairobi economy is from hand to mouth, and there are people that if they fail to work for 3 days, they'll actually give up. They're targeting the low income, the border guys, because the border guys cannot be able to go to work. They are going to be mostly affected. I'm not saying they're the only ones. The border guys, the mama mboga people, the people at the hand to mouth, people who cannot survive if they don't turn up in their places of work. Now, that is the target. And this group is actually hurting, because they are the ones that will be targeted the next day so that they don't cheer protest. So that exactly is the real thing. The police will actually want to stage economic sabotage. Economic sabotage is going to affect the lower class, the hustlers. And then the hustlers will then develop hate against any protest, and that will be the ground of stopping any protest. The masses are also daring, and they believe you never know. You never know what is being planned. You never know what these people can do, especially when the numbers are there. And I think Nairobi is of critical target for the state security agencies, because they believe Nairobi numbers triggers other regions. That is why when last time there was this protest, the government moved even to stop live stream. Yes, they stopped live stream of Nairobi, because they believed the more the other regions are looking at what's happening in Nairobi, they are triggered to move to the street. So that's objective. That's probably it. I'm coming back with another analysis, in-depth analysis into what happens in the day, and just keep it here. I can tell you, at this era, during this time, there are so many fake news, and so you should not fall trap to fake news. That is why stick to this channel. If it is not here, you can confirm with us, and that is why you need to stick around with us. Thank you.